I ate honey every day for 30 days. And what happened shocked me, honestly. When I first grabbed the jar of honey, I wasn't expecting much. I thought to myself, it's just natural sugar, right? I can maybe use it instead of white sugar in my tea or on my bread. I'd heard people talk about its benefits, but I always thought it was just talk. I wasn't planning on doing some big health experiment. I was just curious. What could happen if I added just 1 spoon of honey to my daily routine? No other changes. No diet, no exercise. Just 1 small spoon, every day. At first, nothing happened. The taste was sweet, of course, but I thought, it's just sugar, nothing more, nothing less. But I was wrong. I was so wrong. By the end of the 30 days, so many things had changed. My body, my energy, my immunity, even my skin and sleep. So, stay with me till the end, because you'll hear all the details, and find out if this is really worth it, or just another health trend promise. On the first day, the honey tasted so good. I scooped a little with a spoon and had a taste of the pure honey. It was strangely sweet, and its taste was different from regular sugar. But I kept thinking to myself, will I notice any difference? I mean, it's just honey, right? The second and third days passed by almost the same. Nothing special. I mean, honey became part of my daily routine, but I didn't feel any major changes in my energy or body. I expected something to happen sooner, but there was no clear difference yet. Will honey really make a difference in my life? I kept wondering. But by the end of the first week, I started noticing something small. Not huge, but something unusual. I woke up on Friday, and as soon as I opened my eyes, I felt a new sensation. Something I wasn't used to. I felt more energized, like I had more energy than usual. I didn't feel that morning drowsiness, and even after dinner, I was able to keep going without the usual tiredness that comes at the end of the day. What was strange is that honey started helping me reduce my cravings for sugar. There were days before when I couldn't control my sweet tooth, but now, I found I had more control over it. And in this way, by the end of the first week, I started feeling like I was waking up better in the mornings, without any of the usual energy crashes, the ones you get after eating sugar. It was like honey had become a natural boost for my body. This is where things started to get interesting. A whole week had passed, and every day I added a spoon of honey to my routine. But by the beginning of the second week, I started noticing some small but significant changes. At first, I felt like my digestion had become easier. I don't really know how to explain it, but I felt like my stomach wasn't as bloated after meals as it used to be. There was a sense of comfort, like everything was working more smoothly. And that made me think, could this be because of the honey? Then, I started noticing an improvement in my skin. I didn't expect this at all. Over those days, I began to notice that my skin had become smoother and clearer. Even the small pimples I had started to disappear noticeably. I'm not sure if it was the honey, but there was definitely a big difference. And energy? What happened to me in the second week was surprising. I'm someone who's used to having coffee in the morning to kickstart my day. But during these days, I didn't feel like I needed my daily cup of coffee. I was able to go through my day and do everything without that usual caffeine boost. It was like the honey was giving me a quiet, natural energy boost, without any side effects or tiredness afterward. And I started asking myself, wait, is this the honey? How could something as natural as honey do all of this? At first, I wasn't sure if it would really make a difference, but over time, I started feeling the big changes in my body and lifestyle. I'm not going to lie, by the third week, I started wondering, could this be too much sugar? At first, I saw honey as a completely natural thing, and I was enjoying the benefits that had started to show. But as the days went by, I started asking myself, is all this extra sugar a good thing? After all, honey is essentially natural sugar, but could it have harmful effects if I continued eating it every day? I decided to quickly search on Google. How much sugar is in a spoon of honey? I found that a small spoon of honey about 21 grams, contains roughly 17 grams of sugar. And that's a pretty high content, especially if you're consuming other sources of sugar throughout the day. But the issue isn't really the sugar itself. The quantity is what matters. It's important to be mindful of how much honey we're consuming. For most people, a small spoon a day, about 21 grams, is safe and beneficial. But if the quantity increases, it could start to become an issue. Honey is a natural sweetener, so it's best to consume it in moderation. Also, I have to mention, if you have diabetes, you need to be cautious. Honey can raise your blood sugar levels, and you should consult with your doctor before adding it to your diet. If you're diabetic, always keep an eye on the quantities. By the 4th week, I felt like I had changed a lot. The first thing I noticed was my mood. I can't really explain it, but I had this constant positive feeling. I would wake up in the morning not feeling the pressure or stress that I used to feel before. My mood was better, and I felt more ready to face the day. Even in moments of stress, I was able to keep myself in check and face it with more enthusiasm. Sleep also improved significantly. One of the things that always affected me was sleep problems. I often felt like my sleep wasn't deep or restful. But in this week, I felt like my sleep became deeper and calmer. When I woke up in the morning, I felt like my body had fully recharged, and I had this strange sense that my sleep was more refreshing. One of the most notable changes was my reduced craving for sweets. Since the beginning of the experiment, I was always craving something sweet and wishing there was something sugary in the house. But over time, I started to notice that this craving gradually faded. Honey naturally satisfied my sweet cravings without any side effects. In the end, I had more control over my sugar cravings. Another change was the glow in my skin. If you had seen me in the first week, I wouldn't have believed that my skin could change like this. But now, my skin became smoother, clearer, and there were no pimples or marks. Even people started noticing this change. Once, someone said to me, "You look more fresh lately." For me, this was proof that honey is not just sugar, and it might actually have real health benefits. That's when I realized, maybe honey isn't just sugar after all. Maybe honey has deeper benefits than just its sweet taste. After 30 days of this experiment, I was convinced that it's not just natural sugar, it's actually something that's truly beneficial for my body. So after 30 days, here's what I learned. After 30 days of eating honey every day, I discovered that honey is not just a sweet substance, it actually has tremendous health benefits. I felt major changes in my body: better mood, more energy, deeper sleep, and brighter skin. But if you want to try this challenge, here are a few important tips. Choose pure honey to get the maximum benefits. Stick to just 1 spoonful per day. Would you try the 30-day honey challenge? Leave me your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more natural health experiments like this one.